swear by the Almighty Allah
I swear by the Almighty Allah
that the evidence I shall give to this commission
that the evidence that I shall give to this commission
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing
but the truth.
So help me Allah.
So help me Allah.
You can wait for further instructions.
Okay.
Can you state your full names, please?
Yes, my name is Oumie Samba.
Where do you live?
I live at Kotu.
What work do you do at the moment?
Excuse me, ma'am?
What work do you do at the moment? What work?
What work do I do?
Yes.
What work was I doing at the center?
Now, what do you do now?
No, I'm a private citizen. I'm not working.
You're not working. You're a public servant working at the central bank?
Yes, I was.
In what capacity?
I was the second deputy governor.
Could you take a seat, ma'am?
Okay.
Mrs. Samba, how long were you in the position of second deputy governor?
I was there for the past 10 years. I was appointed in July or 1st of August of 2007 until my services were terminated on the 8th of May this year.
Before you became second deputy governor, what position did you occupy?
I was the director of finance.
Could you describe your career at the central bank?
Okay. I started the central bank in 1984, January 1984. I was a graduate banking officer. And then in 1989, I was transferred to the finance department, where I rose to the rank of director of finance.
Where you are? At the finance department, what position did you hold? I didn't get it.
Yes, I started as an accountant, then a senior accountant, then a principal accountant, then a director of finance.
Okay. And from director of finance?
Well, from director of finance, then I was appointed second deputy governor.
So you're director of finance from 1989 to 1990, did you say? So you were director of finance for how long?
For 4 years.
Mrs. Samba,
yes, ma'am.
I'm sure you are aware of the terms of reference of this commission and that we are looking into certain transactions in the central bank relating to the withdrawal of funds by the former executive.
Right.
You are aware of this?
Yeah.
Now, you as second deputy governor, could you describe your terms of reference?
Okay, as second deputy governor, I was responsible for the finance department, admin department, banking department, and information technology department. Those were the departments that were directly under my supervision.
Would you describe this as the operations of the central bank? You are responsible for the operations?
Yeah, operations. Those are the operational departments, those that I just listed.
Sorry, say that again.
I said those were the operational departments, those that I just listed: finance, admin, banking, and information technology department.
Did you have a written job description?
As a governor, no, but as a director of finance, yes, I had one.
So did you have any document which set out your responsibilities in relation to the responsibilities of the first deputy governor?
Yes. The division, that's what I just explained. He was responsible for policy. The other policy.
Was it written
No,
anywhere?
No. Yeah, I think it was when, before we used to have just one general manager. It was not even a deputy governor position. It was a general manager's position. So when it was split and we had two deputy governors, I think the terms of reference were clearly specified.
When was the position split?
It was split in, I can't remember the exact year, but it was when Farmer Ajata was governor.
Did you have, as person responsible for, did you have any operational policies, policy guidelines for the different areas which were under your purview?
Yes, we had policy documents for the, we call them manuals for the individual departments. And from time to time, we used to update the manuals. But given that we just implemented a system, a new system, the RTGS, ACPH, and all of these systems, we were in the process of updating those manuals, the individual department manuals.
Okay. When did you introduce this system?
The system was introduced about 4 years back.
4 years is not a short period. You said just 4 years is not a short period.
Is it 4 or 3? I can't remember exactly, but I think it's 3 or 4 years. It's not too long. So we're in the process because it was, the thing is, it's highly technical. So we needed some inputs because before we left, before my services were terminated, we were upgrading the IT system, the IT infrastructure. So we decided we would wait until, the technicians do their part and then we come in and update.
Did you have any policy in place for the operation of government accounts? Their opening, their operation generally?
No, I don't think we did. I don't think we did.
Which section under your department was responsible for the operation of government accounts?
Both departments, banking and finance. Finance dealt with the foreign currency transactions, and banking dealt with the Gambian Dalasi transactions.
Now, Mr. Colley, the former governor, referred to an old manual that applied to the opening of accounts. Do you know of any such old manual?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Mr. Colley referred to an old manual which he said applied to the opening of accounts. Are you aware of any old manual which applied to the opening?
Yes, I'm aware, but given that some of them have been, there for some years now, I wouldn't be specifically, I wouldn't be able to specifically mention those because I just said we were in the process of updating the manuals.
So if a new employee were employed or promoted into one of these departments, how would they know what process to follow?
Okay. Usually what happened, there's just an instance that happened recently. We will give them the old manual to look at, and then the director in charge will sort of brief them on the recent changes within the department. But as I said, we were in the process of updating those manuals.
But these manuals did not apply to the opening of government accounts?
No, no.
Now, I understand...
Council, let me intervene, please. I think it's relevant. Mrs. Samba,
yes, sir.
You're familiar with the term DOI, Departmental Operating Instructions?
Pardon?
Are you familiar with the term DOIs?
No.
DOIs. Doesn't every unit have what we call departmental operating instructions?
That's what we call manuals. We call them manuals.
Yes, the manual may not be updated.
Right.
But the DOIs are updated
No, we don't have TOIs. We just have manuals.
Okay. So your manuals are left unupdated?
I just said that we were in the process of updating them because most of the systems in place, the new systems in place, we were just waiting for the last update, which is currently ongoing for the IT system, and then we would have updated the manuals to be in line with those systems.
All right. So when was the manual that you use for opening accounts, when was it last updated?
I just said I don't remember us having a manual for opening accounts.
There has to be a procedure. There has to be a set of instructions. What is it called? To open accounts,
Right.
you need steps.
No, that it has been a practice. Okay, it's a practice, but we don't have any written document for that.
It's either in a manual or in a DOI.
It might be in the banking and finance. Banking are the ones that open the accounts. So it might be in the banking manual, the steps to open an account. But usually the steps are just that you receive, can I go? Yeah. Can I continue? When you receive instructions from the accountant general to open an account, the account is opened and then we ask for specimen signatures to the account. A letter is sent to the accountant general for them to provide specimen signatures to the account before the account is fully operational.
Yeah, we agree. To open it, you need a checklist.
Right?
Yeah. Tick one by one.
Sure.
So that checklist was extracted from a manual or from a DOI.
What
we are saying is, when was that document last updated?
I wouldn't know. I cannot remember.
Okay. Counsel, your witness.
Do you actually have a checklist or don't you?
We definitely don't have a checklist. I just said that when it has been a practice, so somebody coming, it's something that we should have. I'm not disputing that. It's something that we should have, but it's not there. It's just that in practice, this is it. This is what obtains.
You see, that is as head of deputy governor, as head of all these operational departments, that certainly seems to me a significant lapse.
I would agree. I would agree.
You are, of course, aware of the great number of accounts that were opened and operated by the Office of the President.
Yes, I am aware.
Did you take any part in the opening of those accounts?
No, I wouldn't, because the instructions would come in, and then I'll just minute it to the respective departments for them to open the account.
You would minute it?
Yes, I'll just, if the instructions coming, you just minute it to, if it's the director of banking for the Dalasi, opening of Dalasi accounts, and for the foreign currency accounts, the director of finance.
Do you at all check whether, at your level, whether the account is appropriate to be opened or not appropriate? Do you check that at all, or is it just automatic, you pass it on?
I didn't get that, ma'am.
At your level, do you make a judgment as to whether it is appropriate to open the account or not, or do you just pass it on to your subordinates?
If the request comes from the Accountant General, the Office of the Accountant General, for us to open the account, we go ahead and open the account, because usually that has been the procedure all along. You get the request from the Accountant General, and then the account is open. There are cases that the request came from the Office of the President. Those accounts were opened, but I did not make any value judgment on those.
So you're saying in either case, you just open the account?
No. I'm saying the practice has been that the Accountant General is the person that is supposed to open the account.
Yes.
So when the one from the Accountant General, the request from the Accountant General to open an account comes in, those I don't pass value judgment on, because they're supposed to send in the request to open accounts. That has been the practice all along, because I've worked in the banking department since 1984, and that has been the procedure all along. But we noticed that there were other accounts that were opened by the Office of the President without going through the Accountant General.
And in such cases, what do you do?
Well,
You
Madam,
just pass it on as well?
well, you can
I ask you because you are the one trying to make a distinction between what you do when the Accountant General requests and what you do when the Office of the President requests. And it seems to me that you don't make any distinction in practice.
Yeah, in this case, there was no, the one from the Office of the President, I didn't make any distinction. I just minuted it and passed it on.
When did the Office of the President, since you've been in that department for so long, when did the Office of the President start opening accounts?
Whoa, I don't think I can remember that. I definitely cannot remember off the cuff. But it's been a while. Different accounts, it's been a while.
I see. Do you know of any rule, any law under which by which the President can be signatory to an account?
No. I don't know of any rule that did there.
All right. I'll just come to the details of these accounts. Several accounts were opened, as I said, as you know, by and operated from the Office of the President. And one of them is what is called the Vision 2016 account. You know the Vision 2016 account, special projects, Vision 2016 account.
Yeah, I can recollect it.
Now, there were various transactions from that account, which you, in your capacity as second deputy governor, I presume, authorized. I'm going to show you some of these transactions.
Okay.
But the ones I'm going to show you, the transactions I'm going to show you are not by any means exhaustive. There are other transactions, but I just picked these ones at random. You are aware, of course, that the ex-president was the sole signatory to that account.
Right.
We have a request by memo from Momodu Sabali, then SG and Minister of Presidential Affairs, dated 20 May 2014, whereby he said, I authorize Mr. Buba I. Demba, Protocol Officer, to receive on my behalf the sum of $750,000. The said amount should be debited against the gateway account. We will formally write with the appropriate signatories for these transactions once the co-signatory returns from his overseas mission. Now, this one was on the international, actually, this one was on the international gateway account, sorry, for which he, Mr. Momodu Sabali and Noah Ture were the signatories. But this request was by him as sole signatory. Now, I'll show it to you because we don't have any record of Mr. Sabali providing the authorization from the co-signatory at any time.
Okay.
Can you show it to the witness? But you, I believe, you can confirm this, said please pay as authorized. I'll also show you, let me just give you the lot. I'll also show you these other ones. The next one, this is, the one I showed you is from CB18, Mr. Chairman. The next one I'm going to show you is from CB20, and this one is from the Vision 2016 account, Mrs. Samba. And the first one is authority to pay $250,000 to Sana Jaju. And Sana provides what is called the payment certificate, where he says this is to certify that payment of $250,000 was today, August 3rd, made to Mr. Sana Jaju, Chief of Protocol, Office of the President. And he signs Sana Jaju. I believe the authority to pay was from yourself.
Okay.
Now that account, as you confirm, is the President was sole signatory of that account.
Yeah.
Then there's another request for payment by Nuha Williams, MS Jame, this time for $500,000, where he says, I have been directed to receive the first tranche of $100,000. And the next one again is from Nuha Williams, receiving another $100,000. Oh, it's the same one. You have Nuha Williams, sorry, receiving another $21 million. That's dated 15 March. And I believe you authorized it as well. Then from Bori LB Escoli, who says he's been directed by His Excellency the President to receive 100,000 euro. Sanajaju, who said he was directed by His Excellency to receive $500,000. And again by Nuha Williams, and this was the last transaction on the 3rd of January 2017, this year, which was authorized by yourself for $100,000.
Okay.
Can you look at this transaction, ma'am?
Sure. Okay, this one was not authorized by me, it was authorized by the governor.
Okay,
The
pick
one-
anyone.
yes,
sorry,
the one
pick
for
anyone
21.
that was not authorized by yourself.
This one is the governor. This one is the governor.
Can you show us where the governor authorized it?
Yeah.
Can you give a marker?
This is the governor. These are all from the governor.
These are all by the governor.
Yeah.
You have exhibits 20.
Pardon?
No, sorry.
Okay. Okay, the one for October 28 and October, the letters dated October 28 and 30 for $500 and 100,000 euro. I guess this one, the governor might have traveled. We just have to check on that. And usually when the governor travels, we do contact him by phone. Can I continue? Oh, okay. No. I said this one, 28th of October, letter dated, instructions dated 28th of October and 30th of October, I signed for the governor. It might have been that the governor had traveled, and usually what happens is when he travels, we do
Can you confirm first whether you authorized those ones?
Yeah, this one, because I signed for the governor. These ones, for the governor. I just signed for the governor.
And you're saying?
Usually when he travels and we have requests, such requests, let's check to see whether he traveled. Yes, we usually call him on the phone because he's roaming. We have that the latitude to do that, to call him to say these requests have been sent in, so whether we should go ahead and pay. And then he would say, go ahead and pay.
So what you're saying is that you did authorize it in the absence of the governor.
In the absence of the governor.
You're saying you did consult him first?
Yes, usually we consult.
But there are other transactions which by your own statement you had authorized apart from those two?
Yes, these two. This one, the one for...
Okay. I just want to confirm because we would have to... Can you give me the ones that she highlighted, please? You have highlighted the authority of the governor.
Yes, these are all the governors. Yeah. Please pay as requested. These are all the governor.
I'd like you to explain to us, because there are other transactions which you had identified yourself by your statement. Now, could you explain
those are the initials of the governor that I've highlighted. And
All
these
we
are-
have is an initial by the governor.
Yes, and
Or
then...
we have your own handwriting saying, please pay as per the request.
No, that was not my handwriting. That's the
That's not your
governor.
handwriting.
Yes, that's the governor's. Usually initials and then, yeah, that's the governor's handwriting, not mine.
You just signed.
Yes.
That's,
those
your,
are
that's your signature.
O Samba. That's the one, O Samba.
Okay, he or you signed.
Pardon?
Sorry, can you just explain? You highlighted some parts.
Yes, that's the initial of the governor. Okay?
And what part did you play? Why did you sign?
Why did I sign what?
These, did you sign them?
Yes, I initialed it. It passed to the second deputy governor. That's why I initialed it.
I see. You were
Yeah.
just initialing
Exactly,
it as
for
having
it to be-
passed through
exactly.
yourself. All right. I just wanted to understand.
Yeah.
Well, with regard to the ones that you approved,
Right.
now, as I said, those were not authorized by the signatory to the account.
Yeah.
Why did you approve them?
Ma'am,
And there were others as well.
yeah, Honorable
Yes.
Commissioner.
I am counsel. If you are addressing me or you are addressing, you can of
Ah,
course
okay.
address the commissioners.
How do I
am
address
counsel.
you?
You can address me as counsel.
Council.
Yes.
Okay, Council,
Honorable counsel.
Honorable
too.
Council.
I would like to think I'm an honorable
Okay,
counsel.
Honorable Council. These were trying times for us. We knew the rules. I worked for Central Bank since 1984. So we knew the rules. We knew what was supposed to be done. But in this case, we had no choice.
Could you tell us what was supposed to be done where such a request is received?
Where? This,
Yes.
it says the signature of the president. It should have been the signature of the president. It had already been the signature of the president from the protocol that all of the protocol officers that he was sending. Then we entered a very challenging time where we had General Baji come in to collect funds. And then the process deteriorated to one Mr. Williams, General Baji was sending in to pick funds. But we took comfort in the fact that we could get the documentation, we could get their ID cards photocopied, and then from time to time, we would send statements to the president for him to see that these monies were taken out without his signature. In the first place, earlier on, we said the president shouldn't sign. The president is not an accounting officer. The president shouldn't sign. Even if so they wrote to say that he was a signatory to the account. He would send in the protocol officers and they would bring in letters. Then things started deteriorating. From the protocol officers to, I remember the gentleman, the cabinet, secretary to cabinet, he too was coming in to collect funds. But then he would bring in documents signed by the president. But then things started to deteriorate. We had this gentleman coming. Those were the challenging times. Then there was not much we could do.
Why were they challenging? I mean,
Because they didn't come in with a letter from signed by the president. He said he was the sole signatory to the account, but they didn't come in, he just word of mouth. So we
Mrs. Samba, we just want to be able to understand your frame of mind. I mean, your predecessors have said the same thing. But nothing you have said demonstrates challenging circumstances. You said there were people, gentlemen, coming in without the right authority. What was challenging about that? You could just tell them, well, look, you know, the signatory to the account is the president. Here are the forms. Please kindly get the president to sign and come back and collect the funds. We want to understand these challenging circumstances.
I know. Yes. But then you just can't. Then you would say, you don't believe me that you don't believe that the president sent me. These were people with, I wouldn't say power, but they had authority. That's the sad part of it all. Sometimes I question myself, you know, sitting there with all this education, going through universities and everything, and then you're so helpless, you cannot say no. Honorable Council, the Central Bank has been requesting for, we've been clamoring for the independence of the Central Bank for long. I think if we had the independence of the Central Bank properly documented in the Central Bank Act, I think we would have used that to say no. And then we would have some supporting. But these were trying times. We just couldn't say no to some of these requests, not even some of them. These requests, we couldn't say no. Verbal. So what we tried to do was to document it. Verbal instructions. Nobody works on verbal instructions. Because a day like we knew, like a day like today would come. I've been in the bank long enough. I was there for the Al-Ghali Commission. We were the ones digging out the documents. So we knew exactly what would happen. We knew that a day like this would come. So that is why when they come with verbal instructions, we do this letter for them to say, I've been directed, and then have them sign as receiving the monies. And then the president would ask, we would send him statements on a monthly basis for him to see that monies were being taken out of the account. Those were trying times. There was not much we could do.
Well, we are trying to understand. One of the difficulties that I have, you said you were clamoring for independence.
Yeah, independence of the Central
Bank, which would be clearly stated. We have a constitution,
right,
which sets out the authority of the Central Bank. It also sets up a consolidated revenue fund and describes what are public funds. And all these monies that went into the Central Bank, in respect which were being withdrawn by the Office of the President, by our Constitution, and by the laws in place are public funds.
Yeah, right.
And we have an act which says only the Directorate or the Accountant General's Directorate of Treasury can withdraw funds on behalf of government. So we have laws in place, Mrs. Samba. So you didn't need an independence of the Central Bank for you to say that, well, the law says this. If at least the minimum we require is that you at least do it according to the law, or you felt that you couldn't even say this.
Well, it was sad that we just couldn't do it according to the law. As I said,
certainly quite sad,
yeah,
because the country
sad.
was deprived of a huge amount of funds that could have been applied for its development.
Yeah.
Those are the questions I have for Mrs. Samba. Can I have the document?
Sure.
Very well, Madam, you may leave. You may go.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Time is up, anyway. So, we'll be here again tomorrow at 10 o'clock.